I'm going to tell you about a psychological theory called learned optimism and its opposite, learned helplessness. These two outlooks have a massive impact on your life. So let's take a look at both and see why they are so important to understand. Let's start with learned helplessness. Martin Seligman is a psychologist, and in 1967, he conducted research about learned helplessness as an extension of his interest into depression. Learned helplessness is the behaviour of a subject after experiencing repeated adverse events beyond their control. Seligman's experiments involved 3 groups of dogs that was conducted in 2 parts. In part 1 of the experiment, the first group of dogs were put into a harness for a period of time and then released. The second and third groups of dogs were set up to get electric shocks at random times. Both these groups had a lever that could be depressed, and when the group 2 dogs depressed the lever, it ended the shocks for both groups. The lever for the group 3 dogs did not stop the shocks, so despite depressing the lever, it seemed that the shocks ended at random. For the group 3 dogs, the shock was perceived as inescapable as it was beyond their control. Now, in part 2 of the experiment, the same 3 groups of dogs were tested in a chamber with 2 compartments divided by a barrier that was only a few centimeters high. All dogs were given electric shocks, and all of the dogs could escape the shocks by jumping over the barrier to the other side. The dogs from group 1 and 2 quickly learned this and jumped the barrier to escape the shocks. However, most of the group 3 dogs, previously conditioned to have no control, simply lay down passively and whined when they were shocked. Learned helplessness affects humans as well. This can be seen in a demonstration by Dr. Charisse Nixon with students and a task involving solving word puzzles. The students were divided into 2 groups and were given 3 words to solve, but the words were different for the 2 groups. The first group had 3 solvable words. The second group also had 3 words, but the first 2 unsolvable, and the third the same solvable word as group 1. In the task, the first group quickly solved their words, whilst the second group experienced adversity with their first 2 unsolvable words. Like the dogs that did not try to escape the shocks, most of the students in the second group did not try to solve the third word, even though it was solvable. These subjects accepted learned helplessness and gave up, even though success was possible. Now let's take a look at learned optimism. Seligman went on to write a book, Learned Optimism, How to Change Your Mind and Your Life. The core premise of learned optimism is that we can change our attitude and behaviours by recognizing and challenging our negative self-talk. The benefits of learned optimism include better health, improved performance, and career success. So how do you learn to be optimistic? In learned optimism, Seligman recommends the ABC technique, where A, adversity or external events, causes B, beliefs, which in turn leads to C, consequences, which can be experienced as emotions or behaviours. The learned optimism aspect of the ABC model is that external events do not cause the consequences, but it's the beliefs, specifically irrational beliefs, that do. So when you experience the external event, instead of letting irrational beliefs take control and lead you to unhealthy consequences, recognize that this is happening and use rational beliefs to lead you to positive consequences. The key to the ABC model is that you don't need to change your environment, but rather recognize and change your reaction to the environment. Life is going to happen, and your success or failure depends on how you deal with it. When something happens, know that you are in control and can do something about it. Importantly, don't lay down passively and whine. Your past does not control your future, so be aware and make the choice to follow the path to learned optimism and not the path to learned helplessness. Choose learned optimism to challenge your beliefs and achieve success. If you've found this useful, please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Follow Key to Success so you can benefit from my learnings as I undertake my own journey to success.